Hello and welcome to Right from the Kickoff with your host, me, William Bellis, and joined as always is the one and only, it's Joe. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good, thank you, mate. Hope this week's been interesting. This weekend football results has been interesting. Obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about Leicester and Forest tonight, but looking forward to it, mate.
Yeah, no, it should be good, and obviously I think I'm probably the happier out of the two after the result, but we'll get all into that later on. But before we get going, remember to follow us on all our socials, so on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and of course YouTube. And don't forget on YouTube Shorts and TikTok, Joe will be posting little snippets from our podcast and also bring you up to date with the latest news. That aren't you, Joe? You've been very on it this week, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, it's the way the world's going at the moment, isn't it? It's little snippets of news. We're trying to keep across it, both of us. I know you've been passing me a lot of information this week, which has allowed me to upload to TikTok, but it's just been very interesting transfers, which I'm sure we'll go into tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot happening and there's a lot to talk about. So without further ado, let's talk about our week, the games at the weekend. So let's start with Leicester. Joe, what happened to Leicester losing 2-1 to Preston? You did have the youngest goal scorer of 16, which is a shining light, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think as mentioned on one of the TikToks I did this week, Jeremy Monger only shining like we've had really, 16 years old and 37 days, beating Jude Bellingham's previous record by I think 24 days, who scored at the age of 16 for Birmingham. So yeah, that was a really good moment. I think, and I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here, Will, if that's okay. But I just think with Leicester at the moment, we've got a bunch of players and obviously not bringing anybody on transfer that just really can't be asked. Couldn't really give a fuck, excuse the language, but it's true. Couldn't give a shit. And it's frustrating to see from a fan's point of view. You know, it's no surprise that a young lad like Jeremy Monger is showing up the rest of the squad. Harry Winks pissed off down the tunnel at half time, full time. Sorry, don't want him here. If he wants to go to Sunderland, if he wants to go to Brentford, piss off then, mate. You know, just get gone. But no, I think realistically, mate, it's just a bit of a shambles. You've got a lot of big time Charlies there that think they're better than they are. So yeah, not very happy at the moment in the Leicester camp.
Yeah, but obviously it's not the best start of the season for you. You're out of the cup as well. You did manage to squeak past Sheffield Wednesday. What do you think of the new manager? Do you think it's still too early to tell? And do you think the players need a
Yeah,
bit of a kick?
look, 100%. I agree. I think the manager, for me, I've said this to you this week. I don't think the manager is in any position to be questioned at this early stage. He's only 3 games into his tenure. Are there flaws in his system? Yes, there are, but I think realistically, his system requires a team that are willing to work, and this team aren't. So that's the problem for me. It's the players, and we need to get players out the door that don't want to be here. Yeah, and I really think that that is something for me that needs to be addressed as soon as possible, especially with 2 weeks left.
Do you think part of this is because the manager came in so late and all the hierarchy and just in a bit of disarray at the moment? Do you think, like, it's almost September, really, only 10 days left? Do you think that's part of the reason?
Yeah, I think as well. Like I think it was well known towards the end for PSR reasons. We got rid of Ruud van Nistelrooy very late, which then as soon as we got rid of him, we then started the process of looking for a manager rather than looking in that July period where we should have been looking. We really weren't, and we started a process, and it was almost like it felt like last year really when we got Cooper in. Obviously, we kind of courted Graham Potter all summer, and then finally got Cooper in because he was the only man to say yes.
Mm.
But and I just kind of felt like it felt a little bit like this. I think we've looked out. I think we've got the best manager available, arguably other than Danny Roll. From Sheffield Wednesday, funnily enough, and now he's no longer at the
Mm.
Owls. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think anything can be blamed on the manager. But yeah, I do feel like the lackluster timing and sort of the pace of everything is just woeful. And just one message, if he does happen to see this, John Rudkin, get out of my club. Get out of my club now, you little rat. I don't want to see
Joe,
you anywhere
Joe,
near this club.
You're on one today, aren't you, Joe?
Yeah. Yeah, I am. I'm not happy, Will. I'm not happy.
It seems
I'm
like
very
there's a lot of like pent up frustration. It's not just an isolated incident, it's everything the last few years by the sounds of it. Even when you
no,
got promoted, you weren't happy.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's not because at the end of the day, the reason we got in relegated in the first place was failings of the board. We had PSR struggles then, and it's just got worse and worse and worse.
Arguably, yeah.
What?
I think there's other factors that go into it as well. I think you were too good to get relegated. I said to you before, I got the impression that the club as a general, as a collective, including fans and players, thought you were too good to go down, and then
Yeah,
I bet you in the bottom, as it were.
yeah, and I think just one thing before we move on to Forest, obviously, just one thing
It'll
about
be a lot brighter in terms of Forest, won't it?
yeah, yeah. Just one thing about that. When you're a club that's in PSR issues, right?
Yeah, I
The
know it all
one
too
thing,
well.
yeah, the one thing that you shouldn't do, right? When we got relegated to the Championship, and at the time they seemed like great signings, but don't sign players like Connor Cody and Harry Winks, who are going to be on nearly 100 grand a week, separate, so nearly 200 grand a week combined. When you have got these PSR issues, it's only kicking the can down the road. And that's
The
exactly
only
what
thing
happened.
I would say is that a lot of the time nowadays in the players' contracts when they get relegated, they will take a pay cut automatically.
Yeah, but things we signed these when we were in the Championship, mate, on those prices. So there was no relegation clause because they weren't with us when we got relegated. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm not shouting at you. I'm just saying this is the ineptitude of the board. They are honestly, it's John Rudkin and top. There's two people working there. Surely you need more than two people to work in a business. Get somebody else in. We got Glover. We got Glover in from Southampton. Do we hear anything from him? No, because he's not allowed to operate and get the signings in he actually wants. Everything good that
Do you
we've
think part
got.
of it it's got his hand tied because of PSL? They can't operate because they don't have the money. Well, they
Yeah,
have the money, but
maybe,
they
but
don't have the capabilities because of PSL reasons.
no, to be honest with you, mate, I think, and I'm sorry to be crude, and I don't care if this gets taken down. You're probably going to hate
You
me for saying this, but I tell
don't
you what,
say it, don't say it, Joe.
I know I'm going to. The
No,
problem
don't say it because
is
we can't use it otherwise.
okay, all right, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough.
But
I'm
basically, you're
calm,
not very
I'm
happy.
calm, I'm calm, I'm calm. All right, let's move on to the next section. I'm calm.
On that note, let's talk something a bit happier. Forest. So, what a performance! First half, 3-0. Um, so many highlights from the game. I don't know if you watched it, Joe. I was there. But that was so many people want to highlight. Firstly, and Gary, who's had like a bad run. He's been unlucky with having malaria and he hasn't had the best start. But Sangaro, he's finally paying into that 30 million price tag in first game. That was the best I've ever seen him play. Yes, he gave away the penalty. It was a penalty, but this is one of those things I don't really blame him for. But he
It's
enabled
been
Elliot Anderson and Gibbs White to have absolute stormers. Elliot Anderson has to, in the next few years at least, if not now, has to be in the England squad because he's honestly unbelievable. I know people talk about Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace, but honestly, if you see him, he's some of the balls. He's a workhorse. It's everything you want in a footballer. It's unbelievable. Oh
yeah.
my
I
gosh, I can't
mean,
get over it. But what I would say is that Brentford were really terrible, and I do fear for them this season.
yeah, we were touching upon it last week, weren't we? And I put them in my bottom three, and you said you very nearly had them in your bottom three. So we were both
Mm.
discussing that. But just on Forest, obviously I watched the highlights of the game. Obviously I wasn't at the game like you were, but I feel like they just look like a team, and they've added this week. We know they've added this
Yeah.
week to
And we'll go in a bit more detail into that as well,
yeah, of course.
shortly.
But I think Forest in general, they're a team that are pushing in the right direction. Is it Sangari, the guy who gave away the penalty? I
Yeah.
honestly, at the end of last season, he was your best player. He was your best player last season.
Was he?
Towards the end.
He didn't play
Towards the
that
end.
much.
I'm talking about when he came off the bench or when he was being utilised. Because I remember thinking especially I think when we played you at the City Ground, he came off and you just looked a different team. He really does impress me, for sure. I think if he gets a good run of games and he's trusted more, you've got a real player there. Elliot Anderson, like you just mentioned, he is
What an assist, by the way.
yeah, oh, so good, so good. I mean, Chris Wood barely had to do anything, didn't have to break his stride, and was just able to walk around the keeper, wasn't he? I mean,
Great anticipation.
yeah,
Great play all round.
yeah, unbelievable. But yeah, there was a lot of good, creative things. I mean, let's just talk about him for a second. Morgan Gibbs White ball in for I
That's
can't
one of the best.
remember.
He's unbelievable. That assist was unbelievable as well.
Yeah,
Like
it was.
and he
It was.
almost got a bicycle kick to top it off as well. Like he's really showing that he was
Yeah,
right. Well, he is a different gravy.
he,
Honestly, he played really well. That's one of the best performances I've seen from him in the Forest shirt.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
good.
for sure. He's no, he's a special player
And the
indeed.
only thing now is all these signings. Like I can't see many getting into the team. It's all for depth, I think, because let's move on to the transfer news because this is like it's a nice little segue. So obviously, uh, late last week, early this week, we announced we signed Hutchinson and McAtee. I think that'll be great addition to the squad. Great for the squad depth as well. Arguably, we paid over the odds for Hutchinson, but only time will tell on that one. People said the same about Gibbs White. Now look at him.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean he's a good player, Amari Hutchinson, and like I've said it earlier on the channel, I think I'm quite happy about it because it's weakened Ipswich slightly. Um,
yeah.
so from a championship perspective, I'm happy. But he's a good player. But again, like you said, you're adding it for depth, and with your run in Europe, you're going to need it.
Yeah,
Um,
so since then we signed Cali Mwendo from Rennes in France. I think he'll be a great addition, a great striking force. I think we're up front and in midfield we're going to be unbelievable because we're announced shortly. It's all but confirmed that we signed Douglas Luiz. Now, what do you think of that signing for Forest?
I, I've already said again on this channel in a 2 minute clip that I think it's a great signing. I really like Douglas Luiz. I think he's a great. He can be a box to box midfielder. He can be a good defensive midfielder. He's a bit of an all rounder in there. Like he can play the number 6. He can play the number 8 role. So he's a bit of a destroyer in that midfield, which I think is what Forest are going to need of that standard. I do think he is potentially better than anything you've got currently in your squad for that role. Um, but so I do think it, and it just shows you the levels that Forest are going to now. I mean,
Yeah, it's
from
such an exciting time to be a Forest fan. And oh, just a heads up, I just want to say congratulations to Chris Wood and Matt Sells for getting in the PFA team of the season as well. Well deserved from both of you.
I mean,
Sells,
yeah,
best keeper in the Prem.
yeah. I mean, obviously I have to say this through gritted teeth, but they have been very good players, and yeah, well done to them. But it's painful, mate, to see it from the blue side of the East Midlands. It really is. But
Yeah, well, when you won the league and had all that success, it's
yeah,
all
yeah.
swings and roundabouts in it.
Like I've said, I wouldn't have changed it. But no, just going back to Douglas Luiz, I think if you can get it over the line, which it looks like it's all but confirmed, it's a great signing, and I think he really lifts the quality up in your squad. I really do. I think that's the next level that Forest need to get to. I think you've
Yeah,
got players who have similar quality in and around him, but it's about, like you say, it's about creating that depth and having that 11 that are as good as each other. You know?
yeah. And people said that Forest have been spending a lot, but our net spend is only 70 mil. I say only, like it's 70 mil, but yes, we've signed a few players, but we've let a lot of players go. We've sold Elanga, which I found was really good business for about 55 million. So I, I, I think we've got some good business so far, and what we need left is probably some more fullbacks because we need cover
Yeah.
for Nico Williams and for Alaina. I know we've been linked today with Cash and Comona from Sevilla. They're obviously both right backs. Cash used to play for Forest, so we all know him very well. But I think we need two more fullbacks and a third choice goalkeeper behind Sells and Gunn.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think obviously you said to me before you need to strengthen in that those fullback positions, but I personally think you're nearly there in terms of what you need. But it just goes to show, doesn't it? And I've been saying this in terms of your transfers. It really did depend on which competition you were in because you've really ramped up that transfer.
I was about to say that as well. I think that's why everyone's like, "Oh, you're selling a lot of players so quickly." It's because we didn't really do as much business before because I kind of hands were tied because you
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
know
for
what.
sure.
Um,
For sure.
so really, really happy. So that's Forest. Obviously, we'll keep you updated to any more Forest news is coming in thick and fast. I'm sure you'll get some more updates very, very soon. So on to Leicester then. I know there's a number of outgoings. Joe, so do you want to talk about any of those?
Yeah, so there's these kind of three I want to mention. Obviously, I've kind of mentioned it already in a rant. Winks is being looked at by Sunderland and Brentford. Don't particularly know what the fee's going to be, but it's being talked about. Again, I think this is all just chatter. Um, and then we know that Sunderland have also put a bid in for Abdul Fatawu, who's our winger, possibly our best player. Only 21 years old, very, very good for championship level. Only just recovering from an ACL. I think they bid around sort of 26 to 27 million, and we've kind of turned around and said, look, we want near a 40 for him. He's only on the second year of his 5 year deal, so he's still got 3 years left after this year. So I think that's why. Also being young and talented. And then, of course, I've kind of gone up in more seriousness, and then there's one that's kind of almost crossing the line, which is Bilal El Khanous. Now, he was possibly our best player last year. I think he was kind of the one spark in an otherwise dross season. I mean, I've said this about Bilal. I really like him. Don't get me wrong, but you know, he looks great. But when
Mm.
you're in a sea of crap like our squad was last year, you only look as good as the players around you. And if he's playing okay consistently, that's going to look a hell of a lot better than what everybody else is serving up around him. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, Crystal Palace are interested. There's ongoing talks. I think there's a disagreement in valuation. I think Crystal Palace want in the fee around 25 to 26 million pounds. Of course, we bought him for 20 million. I think we want in the region of 30 to 35 million pounds. So
which
I
will
think
have
there's a
for PSR as well.
yeah, yeah. So I think there's a bit of a disagreement in valuation, but I wouldn't expect Bilal El Khanous to be here at the start of September for sure. I don't even think I'd expect him to be here at the start next week. I think that deal is progressing nicely. Let's just put it that way. Which for us, I don't think it's particularly a bad thing. I think we weren't going to be able to keep him. I think we need that money in to try and get players through the door. I also
And
know that we've
quickly.
yeah, I also know that we've offered a contract to Josh Brownhill as well from
Good player.
Burnley, who because obviously he didn't sign a contract with Burnley. Um, but I do think we need that Bilal El Khanous deal to go through before that Josh Brownhill deal can go through for money reasons, for PSR reasons, as we were discussing. So I do think there are options there for us because it would be Josh Brownhill on a free because he let his contract run out at Burnley. So a lot of the players that we're looking at are going to be on free agency and stuff like that. So we're not adding on a transfer fee.
It sounds like a bit of a worrying time for Leicester at the moment. No, like obviously, I don't think you'll get relegated, but I do think you're going to get promoted.
I don't either,
Do,
mate.
do you
I
think we're
don't
just in a
either.
moment of transition, whether people love that term, but what does that
Yeah,
mean for Leicester?
yeah. No, I think we are in a period of transition, and I think Leicester fans over the first three games are kind of coming round to that. I think obviously when I
Hmm.
was kind of saying all my and I'm not even going to say it jokingly, when I was saying all this stuff about Leicester are going to win the league, this, that, and the other is a bit of a joke. I think you're running in high on the fever of the new season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's new season, and then I finally got to see them play, and yeah, we were poor. Like I say, we were poor against Preston. I've already mentioned that, but yeah, we need some new blood in now. We need to get rid of the people who don't want to be here, basically, and there's still a few of them around. So it'll be interesting to see what our squad looks like on come the 1st of September.
Yeah. Speaking of players who don't want to be here, let's briefly talk about Isak and that situation with Newcastle and Liverpool. Now, Joe, what do you think of it? Tell everyone what's happened if they don't know.
Look, so yeah, so basically, obviously, Isak is trying to push through. Just the long and short of it, is trying to push through and move to Liverpool. He knows Liverpool are interested. He wants to obviously get out a wage bump. He's obviously wanting to increase his wages per week. Newcastle can't really afford it, but however, he's got 3 years left on his deal. Basically, Isak is refusing to play because he wants to move to Liverpool. They've come in. I think they've already put a bid in, haven't they, Will, for about 120 million, which has been turned down. And of course, Isak's like, look, this is a move of a lifetime for me. I want to move, and now he's just refusing to play. Essentially, update from yesterday is he's actually put
Do you think
out
it's
a
not a good look though for the
yeah,
player
no,
or the
it's not.
club?
It's not a good look. I mean, I was just about to say as well. Like, he's put out a statement, hasn't he? On his social media, and I just think, half of this I feel for me is like player power. Club are standing up for themselves, but then is it? Has he been promised things that have not come to fruition? I mean, what's your take on it, Will? I mean, obviously you've asked me the question, but what is your whole take on it?
There's been a lot of like he said, she said, blah blah blah. But the clubs, I don't think he'll ever be able to play for Newcastle again.
Really?
Yeah, I think that trust and bond's been broken. You could say similarities to Gibbs White, but it's not really because Gibbs White never went on strike. Gibbs White didn't really say anything. I think he was happy either way, to be honest. But with Isak, putting that, I don't know if you saw it last night, because obviously he was in the PFA team of the season, but he didn't attend. And while that was happening, he put out a statement.
Yeah, yeah. I've just said
Um,
that. Yeah.
and I think that Newcastle fans have already started to turn on him. No player is bigger in the club.
Yeah, but
Um,
I
but
do.
I think if he does play for them again, he's had to do a lot of groveling because
Yeah,
his teammates will probably not be happy about it as well. It's just a horrible situation to watch, and it's just not a good look for the player.
I I do think and feel that obviously Isak is in a situation. Newcastle fans think they're bigger than they are. They do. There is a hierarchy. There is a hierarchy in football. There is, and Liverpool are a bigger club than Newcastle, which I don't think is helping the
But
situation.
why does that mean that? So what? Just because they put an offer in, Newcastle are also going to have to accept.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think they've got a bit big bollocks a little bit. I really do. I think it
But
is.
Joe, you just talk about player power, and now you're saying, well, Newcastle just put you over for Liverpool. Then how is that fair? Do you think
No,
Newcastle have done anything wrong?
what I'm trying to say here, mate. I get what you're saying, but what I'm trying to say is when it's not like Liverpool have tried to come in and lowball Newcastle either, right?
Hmm.
They haven't lowballed them. They've offered nearly 120, 130 million. So it's not as if the offer on the table isn't something that Newcastle could use. Do you know what I mean? And I just think that the money in football right now is mad. Like I said, player power is mad. I know I'm not really going. I'm not making. I'm kind of being a bit contradictory with myself, but I just think that we need to realise that sometimes if a player wants to go, let him go, because having him in
But
and
but
around the
but
club.
but equally playing devil's advocate, Newcastle need to look after themselves at the same time. It's quite late in the winter to sign a big player signing for 100 plus million, which
Well, yeah,
normally
but
takes a lot more time than a few days.
that's but that's because Will, every player they've gone after. I'm talking about Sesko's gone to Man United, Ekitike gone to Liverpool. There's other
Is this what
players
you're
out there
talking
as well.
about? Hierarchy?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's just it kind of Newcastle just haven't been able to get a foot race going at all in this for transfers at all. It's not like they haven't got the money. They've been putting these bids out. Sesko, Sesko
But
has
just not.
actually um, gone to Man United for less money because he's turned around
Yeah,
and said
and
he
that says
wants.
something. Joe, anyway, let's talk there for a bit because we don't have that much time left. So we'll quickly run through our predictions for this weekend. So I'll quickly run through it because we don't have much time now. So West Ham Chelsea score.
West Ham Chelsea. I'm gonna go 2-1 Chelsea.
I think it'll be 3-0 Chelsea. Man City Spurs.
3-1 Man City.
I think it'll be 2-0. Bournemouth Wolves.
2-0 Bournemouth.
I go 2-0 as well. Brentford Villa.
I'm gonna go Villa 2-1.
I'm gonna go 3-1. Arsenal Leeds.
Leeds did impress me the night, but I'm gonna go Leeds to score. I'm gonna go 2-1 Arsenal.
Okay. I'm gonna go 2-1. No, big one. We haven't really spoken about it much, but we don't have time. Palace Forest.
I'm gonna go 2-2. I'm gonna go for a Desmond.
Nice. I'm gonna go 1-1. Look at that. A big a big derby. Everton Brighton.
Everton Brighton. I'm gonna go 0-0.
I'm gonna go 2-0 Brighton. Fulham Man United.
Man U 2-1.
I'm gonna go Fulham 1-1. Newcastle Liverpool. I know, massive.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, what did you say?
Newcastle Liverpool.
Newcastle Liverpool 3-2.
Big game. I'm gonna go 2-2. And sorry, Leicester Charlton.
Leicester Charlton. Nice little throw in there. I'm gonna go Charlton 1-0.
Big fan. I'm gonna go 1-1. So those are our score lines. You can disagree. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear them. And Joe, we've gone through a lot today. Make sure you follow us on all our socials. All our links are down below. And like I say, if you disagree with either of us, because I'm sure there is in football, then please let us know. Joe, is there anything you want to sign us off with today?
No, just come on, you Foxes. Let's get another loss. Woo!
And come on, you Reds. Let's get a win. Go on. Beat that local derby in Crystal Palace.
All
Oh
right,
dear.
cheers, guys.
Anyway, and cheers, guys. Until next time.